Why, hello, people. New model. Who this? Anyway, that was a bad opening, but I'm not gonna change it. I said it. I'm cringe. We're gonna be talking about something today, like we always are, and it's gonna be a topic that is pretty spicy. And it's a manosphere, and I hate the manosphere, so I feel like it's a good time to stop talking about them.
Now, but you know what? Maybe women should have an equal say because, we give life, right? Right, King? We bring life to the world. So isn't that valuable to a society? We bring life, we bring purity. Oh, no, we do not.
Yep, it's gonna be one of those videos where the entire time I wanna I can't say that on YouTube. The entire time I wanna go jump into traffic, but I can't because this is too fun to talk about. I hate my life.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel, and welcome to my whiteboard series. Today, I'm going to be doing part 2 of why women shouldn't vote. So, if you guys saw my appearance on Piers Morgan, you'll see that I argue that women should not have the right to vote. And I also have a whiteboard video where I explain why I don't think women should have the right to vote. Now,
The irony this is, it's just, you could cut it with a knife. The pure amount of the irony it takes for a woman to say women shouldn't vote, but they shouldn't vote, that means their opinions don't matter. And if their opinions don't matter, that means your opinion doesn't matter. It's a paradox. You see where this is going? It just goes around in circles repeatedly because it's a paradox. You are not a smart person. That is already apparent.
part of this is because women do not offer the same value to society as the whole point of feminism is to say man and women are equal.
Oh, you can read. That's a new one. I didn't expect that after your horrendous paradoxal statement before. But it's good to see you can read and understand some basic concepts at least.
So the men offer equal value to society as well. Now, and I think that this premise is just false. It cannot be true. Now, you might think, Pearl, that's sexist. Don't you hate women? Why would you want to take the right to vote away from yourself? I start to look at the numbers. So, first of all, women didn't even want the right to vote. Only 5% of women even wanted the right. Let's
Yes, on the surface level, you're right. Sure, the surface level. However, it has been scientifically proven that if you grow up in a situation, that you will always believe that situation to be correct. That's why cycles of abuse happen. You believe the way to show your kids love after being abused for a long time is abuse. That's why uh people don't like come out about shit because our society is not giving them much benefit for doing so. This is however bad. Like very bad. And your point does not explain anything. It explains that back then they couldn't vote, so they didn't think they should be allowed. So I don't see your point. I really don't.
let's take the anti-suffragists out of it and let's just look at the value added to society. So, now, what is value added? Value is output in a way. All right, so the definition of value is the regard that something is held to deserve, the important worth or usefulness of something.
Value is a very subjective topic because what you perceive as valuable is not what I perceive as valuable, and that makes it a very subjective topic because, like, there's obviously objective value like food production, doctors, shit like that. Then there's subjective value like people who make electronics. That's a subjective value, or it was until recently. Yeah, there's value in pretty much everything to do with life. It's just how you perceive it can change that value.
So, how useful are women to society is the question. Now, the first question is should we give privilege based on how useful someone is to society? I would say yes. I would say yes. Now, a lot of people say you can't measure value, but I really think you can. So, couple stats. So, men run the infrastructure of society, they pay the majority of the taxes. So, a common complaint I got was like, oh, well, then a lot of men shouldn't vote. what percent of men even do those jobs? So I looked it up for you out of the kindness of my heart. Okay, so if we include, because, you know, we have to define what is the infrastructure. So I included farming, I included manufacturing, I included transportation, I included building the buildings, paving the roads, the jobs that mostly men do and a small percentage of women. All right.
You know, I like your definition of infrastructure. So let me add some things. Medical work. That's pretty important to the infrastructure of society, I would say. Childcare, another thing important to the infrastructure of society due to the fact that society now requires both parents to work. School, very important to the infrastructure of society. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, that's just some no things, some things to keep in mind. There's a couple other things I consider important, but she uses three things, so I'll use three things as an example.
So 13.7% of men have jobs that are associated with the infrastructure, either public or private sector, construction, power, water, roads, but not including truck drivers and other transport. So I would consider truck drivers necessary. I live in a city. How would I get food without my truck drivers?
Now, I know you rich city folk don't know how to do this, but back in the day, they used to grow shit. And people could do that even now. If you can't tell, I live in the South, and I know how to grow shit. I don't do a lot of farming, but I could if I wanted to. That being said, it's not hard to get your own food, like from scratch. It's not the funnest thing to do, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's not as hard as people make it out to be.
So if we include truck drivers and farmers, we need food, right? That goes up to 24.4% of men. Then if we add mining workers and associated field workers, it gets to 26.2%. Now, what about factory workers? How did this get constructed? How did all the stuff we have in this apartment get constructed? Factories. So that goes up to 35.9% of men. Then, if you think about protection, we think about protection, electricity, plumbing, manufactured goods, we go up to 35.9%. And if we include the military, police, and firemen, we got 44% of men that work in running the infrastructure of society. So 1 in 2 men. Is that not, do you think that's significant?
You added a lot to the infrastructure. Okay. So, you said we need food. Great, we need medical staff, doctors, nurses, medical assistants, stuff like that. Administrative assistants, because a lot of administrative work goes into to hospitals. And let's see, school again. We need that because if we don't have school, we'll all be stupid little shits like you. So we need people to teach us. What's another one I said? Yeah, I pretty much said the other ones. And I'm willing to bet that you will not like the numbers when you add those things, and that's why you decide to keep them out.
Or is that insignificant? Is this okay? Now remember, women do teaching, we do nursing, but if those jobs went away, the infrastructure of society would still run. We would still have food, we would still have water, we would still have a military. 44%.
Time for some statistics. Non-fatal injuries occur to about 33% of the farming population, okay? Now, this is non-fatal, but is it non-fatal because the injury itself isn't fatal, or is it non-fatal because of medicine? 3% of accidents in farming result in permanent damage. So, yeah, doctors are needed for that, and doctors require nurses because doctors can't do all the legwork themselves with all the patients they have to see. Next, manufacturing injuries. Manufacturing makes up 20% of all the private industry's injuries. Okay. And the most common one is strains, tears, then cuts and lacerations and punctures. There is more, but you get the idea. Again, these require doctors, which require nurses. Then let's go to the military. Use the military. Almost 50% of the military experience one or more injuries each year. Think about that. They result in over 2 million medical encounters annually across the service, across military services. They require 90 to 120 or more days of restricted work or lost duty time in addition to the cost of treatment. Meaning that they're getting injured enough, that 50% is getting injured enough to require major healing. You are saying stuff that doesn't make logical sense. Nursing is a needed industry, as are doctors. You have to include them in your little falsified example of value. Let's ignore the fact that also I'm pretty sure the majority of retail workers are women, and you need stores to actually I'm gonna look it up, make sure. But you need stores to buy food. Yeah, 50% of women are retail workers. Not 50% of women, but 50% of retail workers are women. Therefore, in retail, a needed industry when it comes to the continuation of society, because we need food and we have to buy food. 50% of it is women. That means when it comes to that, your statistics wouldn't matter regardless. You see, this is what I mean when you don't think about the optics of what you're talking about. Because if you keep looking at all the stuff that's actually needed in society, you will see that women make up a lot of those jobs as well. It's just not the physical labor job, which itself could be a point for you. That could be a point for you. But instead, you decide to try and make falsified points to make you sound smarter, when in reality you're just petty, you're just stupid, you don't understand what you're saying.
So almost 1 in 2 men run the infrastructure of society. So there are some beta-ass YouTubers that are like, well, I stream, I'm just a streamer. Maybe I shouldn't vote by this logic. Well, if you don't employ anybody, I might say yes. And this doesn't even include the men that run the Fortune 500 companies and business owners, because if you include that, those are people that hire people, because women tend to have smaller businesses, men tend to have bigger businesses.
Isn't your mother literally the CEO of like 3 major companies? Yeah, that's what I thought. I think you should stop running your mouth when your entire life contradicts some of your points. But exceptions don't make the rule. Yeah, and this stupidity doesn't make the rule either.
So, okay, 44% of men. What percent of women run the infrastructure? What percent do you think?
0.5%.
It's higher than you think. So, for the women, it is 7.69% of women run the infrastructure of society, and that breaks down. 2.81% comes from factory workers. Infrastructure workers is 1.78%, and police staff 1%. Do we really believe the female police officers are as needed as the male ones? Are they really gonna hold us down if shit hits the fan?
UVA Today has a study showing that if you hire female police officers, women are more likely to report violence and sexual assault because they feel safer talking to women. That is a fact. Just like how men in society cannot really talk about shit because of the same bullshit you're pushing. So this dogma you're trying to spin does not even help men. It's not helpful at all. You're just spewing talking points like you know what you're talking about.
Infrastructure workers, the plumbers and electricians, are they holding the sign? Are they holding the flag for construction on the side of the road, or are they the ones really doing it? Come on, guys, be honest, be honest. The first part of running the infrastructure of society, men do more. So men do the harder job in terms of value. Now, you know what? Maybe the men, like the women, we're just starting to out earn men and make all this money. Maybe we're paying more taxes, right? Wrong. Men pay more taxes. They pay 60% of the taxes. But
The average salary for men in America is $38,000, or $38,000 and some change. And the average salary for a woman in America is $25,000 and some change. Now, statistically speaking, if you look at these things, of course we're not going to be paying more in taxes because they make more. That's how taxes work. The more you make, the more you pay. That's your math doesn't make sense. Also, if we go into how many women are stay at home versus men, there's just more men working, which would be a point for you as well. You know, they have more value because they work more. But again, you're ignoring the fact that being a stay-at-home wife, as long as you don't do nothing all day, has its importance. Because you need to have a clean house. You need to have food. That's typically stay-at-home wives will clean houses and make the food. So your argument, even from like a logical standpoint, makes no sense. Literally no sense.
maybe, wait, they pay 60%. Wait, how did it said? They pay 60% more tax than women. Okay, well, maybe women are just better than with money, right? Maybe women, I mean, we may not make as much, but we're just more responsible. They always say women mature faster than men. So we're just so much more responsible. Wrong. We hold 2/3 of debt. So we make less money. We do the easier job. We have more debt.
Let's play a game. Let's play how many points I can easily disprove. Debt.org has a study showing the like debt disparity or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Again, let's say to affect the average wage for a man and woman are, as I said, 38,000 for men and 25,000 for women. Okay. Men have 2% more credit card debt, 20% more personal loan debt, 16.3% more auto loan debt, and 9.7% more mortgage debt. Okay, now women have more student loan debt, which is more damaging, but that's a whole different rabbit hole I don't feel like getting into. The difference is, because men have higher paying jobs, they can handle the debt, versus women who can't handle the debt due to the fact that they are in jobs that pay significantly less. And you can say, oh, well, that's the point, but student loan debt is something everybody has. Like, the difference of actual debt is like 8%. Men have 39% and men have 39% and women have 31%. But the fact that their women's wages are so much lower, that is a massive amount of debt, a massive amount. But ignore the actual statistics and try to have a gotcha moment, sure.
Now, but you know what? Maybe women should have an equal say because, we give life, right? Right, King? We bring life to the world. So isn't that valuable to a society? We bring life, we bring purity. Oh, no, we do not. So the birth rate has dropped below 1.64 kids per women, so less than 2 kids a stick. And they're projecting that 50% of us are going to be single and childless. So
here's the thing about birth rates. They tend to fall as the country's income rises, meaning the low birth rates can be a reflection of greater prosperity for that country because they don't need to keep having kids in the hopes that one of them will survive. That's not a bad thing. As I said, it's a reflection of how great these countries are doing. You can say it's a bad thing, but that's just not how science works. It's really not. People, animals, humans, are only going to have a lot of kids if there's a good chance that their kids will die. That's why cats have litters. That's why dogs have litters. That's why bugs lay millions and millions of eggs because a lot of them are likely to die. You're just ignoring science to try and make a gotcha point because you don't like it. In America, the UK, and other countries like them, our incomes are pretty high, so the birth rate of children is going to be lower in these countries. That's just how it works.
And we're no longer, 95% of us aren't virgins on our wedding night, so the majority of us, we don't bring purity to the market.
This isn't a point. It is a stupid gotcha. The fact that women aren't virgins anymore means nothing. It really means nothing. I don't know why people try to use this as a gotcha. It's fucking stupid.
We bring more debt, we do the easier jobs. Knowing all this information, can we really say that men and women are equal?
Yes, we can, because these points are mostly stupid ass gotchas that have no actual basis in reality. As I've said, the statistics of your points, while not always incorrect, do not reflect how reality works because you're just using one side. If you look at the whole picture, you'll see that your points don't mean a lot.
That we contribute equally to society. Why should we have an equal say? Now, I am open to suggestions, guys. It could be net taxpayers, because by that logic, still men would be the majority of the voter. It could be only the people that are in the military or the infrastructure can vote, which would also lead to men voting the majority. My point is, why do we get the most say when we do the least amount of work?
Okay. So, let's say you're right, okay? Now, you're not, but let's say hypothetically you are. Nursing is still one of the most demanding jobs in the market, and it's mostly women. Retail work, 50-50, is also a pretty demanding job because you have to deal with entitled pricks. Ambulance workers, I don't know the percentage, but I assume that also has a pretty high women hire rate. Admin's assistant, as I said, mostly women, also pretty demanding. What's another one? There's just a lot of things. I can't think of another off the top of my head. I don't have the list on my, I closed my list. I don't have any more. But there's a lot of stuff like this that you have to take into account when you talk about this shit that you're not. That's why nobody has ever come to the conclusion of, if women better, men better, oh, who knows? Because the real answer is, you won't know. There is no answer. It's a question without an answer, and the only reason it's a question is because of idiots like you.
Women, you cannot win an election as a politician without catering to women. You have to get the female vote. And the majority of the swing voters are single women.
I mean, yeah, because women typically care more about politics than men when it comes to actually voting and not running their mouth. Because, like, voter turnout has always been predominantly women. Like, if you look at statistics, it's pretty shocking how often it's women. Not how often, but how much. Let's use 2020 as an example, because that's the latest number in this, okay? Oh, no, 2022. Okay. About 77% of men are registered to vote. But 84.4% of women are registered to vote. Like, whenever you take this into account, of course they're going to cater to women because women make the majority of voters. That's why we shouldn't have. That's why we shouldn't have women voting, because then men will do all the right stuff. No, men will do wrong stuff. Men are known for being Republican. And if we look at a Republican state like Florida, we see that Republicans now want to try and erase history and change it to fit their own narrative. This is not a good thing. Democrats, while also bad, aren't trying to erase history. They are keeping it the same. But that doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, people are gonna see this video and think whatever they want. This is not done yet. It's just this video is almost done thought.
So now we have all of the politicians catering to women who don't offer equal value. Now, you can say that maybe as a woman I shouldn't advocate for this, but I think we should advocate for a society that is fair. And the way this is set up, women are doing the most useless jobs. We have the majority of the debt. We're not having children. We're not getting married.
Childcare ain't a useless job anymore. School teachers aren't useless jobs. Nurses aren't useless jobs. You're lying. You're just lying to try and prove a point because you are nothing but a liar. Your entire channel is built on lies.
And yet, we want an equal say to men. But I don't know, guys. Let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pearl's just a misogynist. I just hate women. And I'm just a dummy YouTuber, doesn't know anything.
You said it, not me.
According to these beta-ass, simp-ass reaction channels who don't look at any of the numbers. So,
well, as one of these simp-ass, beta-ass reaction channels that don't hit the numbers behind the scenes, I provided numbers, and I didn't say your numbers were wrong. I said your logic is wrong. The numbers you provided are... Well, actually, no, I did say your debt numbers were wrong. Your tax numbers are also not wrong, but they're not right as well. You're talking about like overall taxes, and men overall work have more more experience working. They typically work more, and they make 10K more than women. So the taxes are obviously gonna be more because they just make more, and there's more men working. So statistically speaking, you're just wrong there. Well, you're not wrong, but you're not right. But yeah, a lot of your points are just wrong, or they don't matter, because you don't actually look at the entire picture. You look at numbers and say, "Ooh, I can get a gacha," but in reality, you can't get a gacha because it doesn't matter. You ignore nursing. You try to make a mockery of it when doctors are an important part of the infrastructure, and without nurses, doctors couldn't do their job. And you're just not paying attention to the entirety of society. And that alone is enough to make you a dummy YouTuber, as you call yourself. And you can say I'm a beta, I don't pay attention to numbers. I did pay attention to numbers. I provided percentages for a lot of the things I said. Except nurses, not like the percentage of women working in these fields, which all exceed 90%. So it doesn't matter. The point is, your numbers are flawed. Well, not numbers. Some of your numbers are flawed. Most of your logic is flawed, and a lot of your points are flawed because you don't look at the entirety of society and only focus on one tiny subsection because you're a small-minded individual. Anyway, if you like this video, you're new to the channel, please leave a like and subscribe all down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!